everybody, welcome to Cooking with Sylv Mac, and tonight I'm going to make some smothered pork chops, rice, and gravy, which is like one of my favorite dishes of all time. I don't know about you, but I grew up on it. My brother Everett, as a matter of fact, he only will eat my pork chops, rice, and gravy. He loves it that much. But before we get started, of course, got to pay homage to Mama Mac. She would always cook with a glass of white wine, Chardonnay. Okay, so let me show you now what the pork chops look like. So instead of the pork chops, actually, I have pork steaks. And look at the flavor that you can see in here. You see all of this good marbling? That is what you call flavor, and it's bone in. So that's gonna give you some nice fat, flavor, and juiciness. Whereas when you get sometimes those little thin pork chops, they're a little dry sometimes. So make sure that you look for nice marbling like that. The seasoning that I'm going to use is going to be simple. A little garlic powder, a little bit of adobo, just a hint of this Blue Mountain Jamaican curry, not much. And then this is my jam right here. My girlfriend, Tracy, she's my oldest girlfriend. We've known each other since kindergarten. When I lived in Miami, her nanny was from Jamaica, and she is the one that hipped me to the oxtail seasoning. And actually, this is what she uses to season her oxtails. But I have found that the same seasoning for the oxtails works great on these pork steaks. Then I'm gonna also use some onions, and I've got two different types of onions. So I've got half of a yellow onion, and then just two chopped up onions for green onions to give it a little bit of flavor and a little color. I always like to squeeze just a little bit of lemon, so maybe half a lemon when I make my gravy to just brighten it up a little bit. So I've got my pan getting hot right now, and I'm going to put some oil in there. And of course, I'm going to use the olive oil from my daughter-in-law's family from Crete, Greece, and it is called Taste of Mathonia. You can order it online. It's in select stores, but they have a olive grove in Crete, Greece that is phenomenal, and they make their own olive oil and their own wine, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in here. Probably, I would say about maybe 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to get the pot nice and hot. I'm going to sear the pork steaks and then make the gravy and then finish it off in the oven. Okay, so I have seasoned up the pork steaks, so now it is time to fry them. So you can see I've got them, I've already cooked 2 of them, sort of seared them, sort of put them off to the side and put a little tinted foil over them. And now I am browning this one. And you can see it's just a little bit of curry that I put on there, because you don't really want a bit curry flavor. And I also sprinkled a little black pepper on there. So it looks like this might need a little bit more oil, so I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to that. I'm going to brown that side. And while that's cooking, what I'm going to do next is now I'm going to go in and put my vegetables in. So I've got my onions in there. I'm going to you want to scrape the bottom of that pan and get some flavor going, because that's where a lot of the flavor is, those little brown bits. You see that in there? So I'm going to scrape that, and I didn't use any garlic because I put garlic powder on the steak itself. And then after I put some flour in there and make like a little roux, I am going to use this Better Than Bouillon base, and it is the roasted garlic base, and I love to use this. Now, my mom told me that whenever you make gravy, that you always want to have your water nice and hot. You don't want cold water. So I've got the hot water, and I put about maybe a teaspoon or so in there. And this is, what, 2 cups of water? So what I will do next, and you see that's looking pretty good. Stir your vegetables for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then add 2 to 3 tablespoons of flour, and then stir constantly for about another 2 to 4 minutes. You want to make sure that you brown the flour because you don't want that floury flavor in your gravy. So make sure that all of the flour is out. You're going to now add your base. And you're gonna stir around and get the little bits on the bottom. Keep stirring, and this is gonna thicken up. Right now it looks really, watery, but as it cooks down, it's going to definitely thicken up into a nice gravy. But I like to sort of run my wooden spoon on the bottom to get all of that goodness on the bottom. Those little black spots are really, really good and tender. Then what I will do is add the rest of the steaks that I had already cooked or sort of browned. And we're gonna add them back into the pan. And you can't forget this. This is good flavor here, you see that? It's all about building flavors. So now we got our steaks back in there. We're gonna cover it up. You want to use, if you have a nice either Dutch oven, or this is actually a braising pan that I have, but a Dutch oven will be fine, but make sure it's kind of a nice heavy one. This one is super, super heavy. And you want to cook it at 275 degrees, low and slow. And I'm going to put them in there, I probably will cook them for at least an hour, and you want to braise them. When you braise them, you don't cover them completely with the liquid, otherwise that's going to boil them. I know a lot of people have questions about how to make perfect rice, and I've got the secret right here. So I have switched over because I grew up on Uncle Ben's, that's what my mother used, but I have found that this is great. So basically it's a 2-to-1 ratio. So you've got like 2 cups of water, so that means that you will use 1 cup of rice. I like to add a little flavor to my rice, so I added about a teaspoon of this Better Than Bouillon turkey base. And I've got the water boiling right now, as you can see. So what you want to do now is you take your rice and you pour it in. You take your wooden spoon and you stir it. I also put just a little bit of salt in there, not much, because there's also, the flavoring is going to come from that base. And then once it comes to a rapid boil, then you want to turn it down, and this is the important part because otherwise it's going to bubble up and bubble over. So once it comes to a boil, you can see that it's bubbling right now. You want to turn this down. So you can see right now I've got it, on 9. I'm going to turn it all the way down to like 2. It's now up to like a rapid boil, so I'll turn it down to about 2. Now you cover it. So after about 20 minutes, check the rice and it should be done. Maybe 22 minutes or so. But you look and make sure that all the water has boiled out and you've got your rice. Okay, so now it's time to check the rice and the steaks. They're done. So let's see what we got. So we got our perfectly cooked rice. I haven't fluffed it yet, but I did go in there and sort of, you can look and see that it's nice and fluffy. I just haven't fluffed it, but still very nice and tender. We got the pork steaks here with the nice gravy. And one of the things that I do like to do is right before I sort of serve it a little bit, and not much, you just want to squeeze just a little bit of lemon. And here's the finished plate, just to brighten it up a little bit. I always like to add, like I said, a little acid to my food. So voila, the finished product, smothered pork chops, rice, and gravy.